I just want to document right before my life changes. Today is February 11th, 2025, around 1:30 p.m. And at the beginning of September, my seasonal job ended, working as a camp counselor, to my own critical acclaim. I don't know what that term means in this context. I hope it fits. That I was just done working for jobs, people that didn't fit my values, that maybe was, doing some of the things that I wanted, but wasn't meeting all of my needs, expectations, goals, values. I gave up on anything that wasn't serving me, doing me any good. And realistically, I haven't worked since then. Currently, I'm sitting on a high chair, or maybe it's closer to like one of those sinkholes that just appears in the road. Sitting at the bottom of a sinkhole of approaching $4,000 of debt. I've relied on my cousin for support to get me through these 4 or 5 months, and challenged every single one of my values. Challenged all of my relationships, reorganized my life several times, to come to some conclusion that strangely enough, even though I'm still here, the world currently as it stands doesn't gravitate towards recognizing my value, because I don't put it out there. It doesn't matter how smart I am. If people don't see it, then I'm gonna be isolated. Period. End of story. So, all of this put into question everything I have studied, everything I've learned through my restless study of psychology, over the course of high school when I was just looking for a way to not be depressed, to feel something. Over the course of my career working with individuals with mental and physical disabilities, trying to provide them a better service, work with people better, being the person who everybody who actually sits and has a conversation with me, give them some kind of value that they can take away. And challenging everything I know. The reason why I started doing this shit in the first place, to give myself a sense of my own value, to feel something. Moving into giving that away once I had just a little bit of something. Where these past months have forced me, I put myself in this position. So I forced myself into a position where I had to give that value to myself, or suffer. And suffer and value I did. And what that has net me is being exactly here. In my body. A deeper presence in my body. Where I'm not stolen away or giving myself away. And I don't want to lie and say that it was easy. It was not easy to take myself and walk myself to myself, which sounds strange. It sounds like that shouldn't be difficult, even though it is. Mainly because I know it's not my damn fault. That's whatever I learned growing up from, not quite so much from my parents. They just kind of let me do whatever, find my own way, which I can't say was good or bad, that they love me. It was more what I found without their guidance that had me going every which way, all over the place. I've really started to question what structure actually means, what is actually holding me together, what is holding the world together, and what happens when I want to start rebuilding is I'm met with friction because there's a culture that just doesn't fit who I am or what I'm trying to be. There's a culture that makes being submissive a regular, normal, okay thing. Encouraged complacency. This is what you do on the weekday. This is what you do on the weekend. And this is everything in between. And your life is scheduled because you need to make a certain amount of money to make a living, to put food on the table, to pay bills. So many outside noises pointing me in a direction that I refuse to follow. So part of me wants to say, like, I didn't meet difficulty necessarily in myself. It was challenging everything the world was telling me I needed to be, what I should do. Part of why I started to actively refuse that in the first place. It just felt completely disgusting to live for somebody else, because that's what it felt like. That's not okay. I don't care what anybody says. That's not okay. There's people that I've met who I'm not even sure if they recognize the entirety of their value the way that I do. The way they put it on display just by being there and expressing themselves. Something that I've found difficult to do. It did not come easy to just be and express myself. Even when I gave myself that time and opportunity, there was always this voice of like, that's not quite how you should be acting or responding, or you shouldn't be breathing that way, or you know, that self-talk that just nitpicks. But I wonder why the world doesn't see what I see as valuable. I wonder why money has become the primary resource of how we express value beyond media, information, misinformation, whatever. Things that emotionally engage. There's a reason why I gravitate towards consumption. towards my favorite creator, towards my favorite artist, towards my favorite newscast. There's a reason why you do. It's not money. Even if you're somebody who supports that creator, it is whatever they're doing, them expressing themselves was valuable. And this term of breaking through to the mainstream became relevant to me just now. Of what it actually means to be famous, to be infamous, is looking at somebody and either seeing something that I want to be myself, or is there an or? That alone seems like a highway to devaluing yourself, to resting and giving yourself a seat of being less than that person who couldn't stomach that seat themselves and they chose to work on themselves, to work with what they care about. I have lockjaw, just in case you're wondering why I'm moving my jaw. Why do people have large followings? People resonating with the message, people resonating with the person, people resonating with a sound, an image. That leads somehow to this faraway money land. If you're good enough at being yourself and showing the world that image, that sound, whatever you have, the people that flop try to pander to whatever they think audience will want. The audience will want you. How many people knew themselves? How many people lost themselves? How many people didn't know but found themselves in whatever they were doing? My entire time that I've spent just meandering around being what would societally be considered, at least this little voice in my head telling me the depth of depravity of society. Just because I don't have money. When I think about all these things that actually hold meaning, that actually hold value, what it takes for people to recognize that in themselves. Does it really take 4 or 5 months of refusing anything else and sitting with yourself? Not necessarily. That's just the way that I did it, I guess. How I found my way. Why people choose anything else? It's because another option means creating something that doesn't exist yet. And that takes effort. And if I've learned anything, that everybody is valuable. And if you don't believe that you deserve to give that value to yourself, then ask yourself, why do you reinforce that lie? Who had the gall to convince you that you're not worthy of what you want, what you deserve, what you need? Do you feel yourself dying? Actively dying. Synapses perishing as you try and do something that doesn't feel right to you. Working the 9-to-5 job, the regular, everyday American schedule, especially witnessing how if there was more jobs that paid well for cleaning up the planet, for creating structure for sustainability so that people aren't just surviving, aren't just going to, in the future, be more in survival mode, but thrive. When you thrive, when you start to choose your own thriving instead of your own survival, I know the whole world benefits from your benefit. And I'm doing that thing that I do, where I get all inspirational and I end up talking to somebody instead of talking from my own experience. But these are things that I've learned. Things I hold dear. And I hope that if you're anybody, and you're someone, that you'll find some value in my own actions to find value in yours. That's part of the reason that I've found that I'm alive what brings me value is to give it to others. And to do that, I needed to learn how to give that to myself first. Putting the mask on myself before I put the mask on my child. Putting my life vest on before another's. It's both of those analogies indicate survival. But more importantly, they indicate basic needs. And basic needs should be redefined as not just survival needs, they should be thriving needs. Thrival needs. What does it take to start your day in a way that you know that you'll thrive till the end of the day? And not drag your feet through it. That matters. And you know the answer to this. So the real question is, what is stopping you? What's getting in the way? It's always you. Anybody else, that's just a scapegoat. Don't let anybody convince you how to live. That's bullshit. Bullshit. Plain and simple. I'm here because I couldn't afford to not be seen anymore. And neither can you. It's about damn time that whoever you are, wherever you are in your life, that you're seen for who you are and not somebody that you're trying to be for somebody else. And it's what you practice. Are you practicing living your life to live it in somebody else's hands, or are you practicing to live it in your own? And how often are you practicing living your life by your own means? And is it every moment of every day? Because if it's not, are you thriving? Or are you just giving yourself away? I don't know how to end this. I don't even know if this is how it should end or when it should end but I'm tired of looking for the perfect way for things. Just letting it be. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. And if you do, take a moment, take a break. Make sure you know your values and that you're aligned with your values. Whatever you do, wherever you go. And to stay close to the people that cherish when you act from your values, and run away from the people who don't. You don't need to prove yourself. To anyone but yourself. Even then, prove yourself right. That you are the person that you think you are. and not what anybody else thinks about you. The ways that you build yourself up, other people build you up, and anything that breaks you down, I want to say there's plenty of plenty to be learned from other people who break you down, but I also think that whoever's doing that is just scared of success. Seeing your success. Don't let anybody break you down either. Whoever is listening to this, I know I may be distant. I know I may be on your screen. And yes, recognize that there's an outer world outside of this thing. Recognize your power. Come back to yourself. Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! And I don't want you to just think that I'm saying words when I say that I love you. Because if you made it to the end of this video, and you're somebody who appreciates what I have to say, and anybody who appreciates what I have to say deserves my love and my respect. So thank you. Take care. Be well. Nobody else is going to take care of yourself quite like you can. Love yourself instead of the love that I can give to you when I can't give it to you. The way that you know how to nurture yourself to the best of your own ability. The way that you know how to love yourself and care for yourself. And I love you.